Politte.
Good morning, my name is Izzy, your hostess with the mostest in the city.
I'm Bailey.
And you're watching channel 315, the one-stop destination for the latest HWS. Bailey, what do we have today?
Yeah, so last week we heard about a fight that happened between an HWS student and Geneva residents right outside of Eddie O'Brien's. Yeah, police had to be called and everything. And so we thought it would be really good to look at this week at the cultural divide that really prompted this altercation to occur. And so we have Madison down on the scene right now, who's going to talk to the Geneva residents and really just see where they're at with their perspective towards HWS.
Madison, can you ask?
Hey guys, so I'm downtown with some Geneva residents, and I just want to ask you a few questions about your feelings towards HWS and the students and all that good stuff. So first off, what is your overall impression of HWS students?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't really have one. I really only seen them going to local bars, and they sort of live in their own little bubble. I really have heard some bad stories about the way that they treat local employees, but I guess I've heard some good stories too.
How do you feel about the types of service that they do around the community?
Well, HWS has their day of service, which is good, but it's only one day. And I'm not saying that our community needs constant charity work or service, but you'd think with a college that prides themselves on these things, there would be a little more engagement.
How do you view the colleges as a whole?
As a whole, I mean, it's okay, but as far as I'm concerned, HWS and Geneva are two separate communities. I think the students at HWS either don't understand or don't recognize their own privilege.
All right, well, thank you for your time. What about you, sir? How do you view the students of HWS?
I don't really mind the students per se. I think they give a lot to the community, but I think they could give a lot more.
How do you think that they could do better in this department?
Well, they could be less disruptive when they throw their house parties for sure. They could see their partnership with Geneva as simply that, more of a partnership than simply charity work. And also, I guess I have these views because I don't really interact with HWS students. Really, they're so far away and not really part of our community that we don't really interact much. I guess if they really lived in the same places that we lived, it would be different.
So you think that if some of these changes were made, you could have a more positive view on students of HWS?
For sure, for sure. I just think it would require mutual effort on those things.
All right, well, thank you for your time. That's all for these interviews. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Madison.
Yes, so now we have a promotional video that was sent to us by the HWS Counseling Center, and they really wanted us to show it because they have a great new program that they're offering to the HWS students. Do you have privilege and not know how to use it? Are you tired of spending your parents' money and not going to class?
I have more Vineyard Vine shirts than I can even wear anymore. They just hang up in my closet.
Cool, dude, cool.
Teachers always call on me, even when I'm not raising my hand and other people want to answer.
And I'm a legacy.
We hear you. Society tells you to be successful, but doesn't tell you what you should do once you have that success. It's not your fault you never learned how to care about others. It's just how the American dream works these days. But we say no more. Our staff has been working day and night to create a solution to this cultural divide, and we're now ready to offer a product to the public. Introducing compassion counseling. Attending just 4 weeks of sessions has been scientifically proven to teach people how to care about others.
I donated more than 25 Vineyard Vine shirts to my local Goodwill. So many people wearing Vineyard Vines that the company reached out to me to be their media representative.
Oh my God, bro, that's cool.
Right? Now I work to make Vineyard Vines more economically accessible.
Wow, dude.
At first, I stopped raising my hand, but teachers kept calling on me even when other people wanted to answer. I realized I have to be more clear in my actions. So now I'm raising my hand. But now I'm suggesting that we listen to other people who have their hand raised.
I learned that I can use my status as a legacy to make real change on this campus. The colleges actually listen to me. So I've joined a ton of clubs that have messages that need to be heard.
Compassion counseling is for everyone. It is never too early or too late to build meaningful connections with your community. Email compassion@hws.edu to sign up for an appointment with one of our counselors who will help match you with the perfect session for you. Be sure to notify them of your socioeconomic status, as this will reveal just how much compassion you're able to share with others. Side effects include caring too much, not using racial slurs, being extremely woke, checking one's privilege on your own, and even using your snack money to buy a sick roommate a meal. Don't limit yourself to a life of leisure and luxury. If you call to sign up for an appointment with one of our counselors today, we'll even throw in a free trial week of our sister session, Community Empowerment, because no one likes feeling unwelcome in their city.
And we're back. It's crazy. Counseling community. Crazy.
Yeah. I think it would be a really good program for the students to use, because I think it's always necessary to learn how you can care more about others, but it's just kind of sad that the students need to be told to do it.
Oh, cool. Breaking news. Oh, we have Madison live at HWS. Madison, can you hear me?
Hey guys, I'm here on the campus this time, and earlier today I was interviewing some Geneva residents, and now I'm here with Josh, a Hobart student. And Josh, I'm just going to ask you a few questions if you don't mind. How do you like going to school in Geneva?
Hmm?
How do you like going to school in Geneva?
Oh, I love Geneva. Going to Beef and Brew and Bart's right after. I can't ask for much more.
Is that all you like?
Well, you have Lake Drum. That's awesome. And then, that place FLX, that's turning out to be the spot. Yeah.
Okay, so when you go to these places, do you interact with Geneva residents?
Well, I know all the bartenders, that's what they hook me up. But, I guess I see some townies in Riley J's. And, I say hi, say what's up. But, not much more than that. A little sketchy.
What makes you say that?
I don't know, it's just always staring at me. Seems like they're up to something. I don't really know, I can't put a finger on it. It's a little weird.
Okay, so when you go to the places that you described, is that the only area that you stay in, or do you venture out?
I mean, Geneva isn't really that big. Where else is there to go?
You don't feel the need to explore? You're going to live here for the remainder of your time here.
I live on campus. There's nowhere else for me to go in Geneva.
So what I'm getting is that you consider the campus of HWS separate from Geneva.
I don't know if I would say that, but I think the college, whether they know it or not, creates a divide between the school and Geneva.
How so?
Well, for example, me, I don't have a car. And so, there's only a few amount of shuttle spots that go into Geneva. And other than that, I don't have another reason to go out there. So I might as well just stay on campus.
Well, isn't there off-campus housing?
I mean, there is off-campus housing, but it's pretty difficult for students to get involved in it, and only a certain amount of students are allowed to do it. And so it can be an arduous task and it can be difficult for a lot of students.
Well, why do you think it's so hard?
Well, I can't answer that question, but for a student like me, to be able to live off campus, especially because I'm on financial aid, the ability to save thousands by living off campus would really benefit me and my family.
All right, so how do you consider your experience overall with the Geneva community?
There isn't much of a connection there, I would be honest with you, which I think is interesting, if I can be honest with you. Can I call you Madison?
Yeah.
Awesome. I think it's interesting for a school that prides itself on, civic engagement and community service and loving Geneva. That connection isn't very apparent to me. But, that's all I really have to say about it.
Okay, so what I'm getting from your response is that you view this lack of engagement as a problem.
A problem, I'm not one to define what's a problem, but, I think that the school should practice what it preaches.
All right, well, thank you for your time. That's all for this interview. I'll
Hey,
go
Ma.
back to you guys.
Thank you, Madison. Hobart student. Something else. Anyways, on to our next segment, today's Powerball. I hope you're ready. I anticipate big pride in the campus of both campuses. Beautiful city, Geneva, and experience the Dolphins for the first time. So, you got your tickets out. Can I get a drum roll, please? The first number today's Powerball is 35.
35,
Second is 42.
42,
The third is 22.
22.
And first we're gonna go in here with 15.
So crazy, I can't believe I didn't win. So close.
Anyways, moving on. I'm a tour guide at Hobart, and last week I was pretty far my day, how busy it was. So I'll put the clip and we would like to roll it, so we go.
Oh, you sure that? I'm so excited about this tour. I've been to HBS 3 times.
Welcome.
Thanks. Thank you.
It's so special. She's such an integral part of the community. Come on, let's go.
So what's so special about Geneva?
Everything is just a beautiful place. We just got $10 million grant from New York State to revitalize downtown.
Oh, wow. Are there nice places to eat?
Of course, we got our beef and brew there. We got our Eddio's. We got our park in so many places.
So what's past that burned area gas station? Are there more surprises down there?
Nope. Well, moving on, please.
So this downtown area is pretty much all of Geneva.
Pretty much.
So there's nothing else down there.
Look, like I said before, we don't go there, we don't mess with them, they don't mess with us. Anyways, moving on.
Where I live. Do I know where I live? 1 mile from my birthplace. 1 mile from my home. And now I'm in the center. I should know where I live, but I don't. I feel trapped. We want to bridge the gap between these two foreign lands. But on my map of Geneva, New York, I see black, right where I am now. Do I know where I live? I am an outsider in this first world country that takes up just a fraction of my true place of origin. We want to unite these two nations, but no matter how hard we try, each group has strong opinions about the other one's lives. Why don't I know where I live? I want to engage with my community. I want to see the outside. They tell me we're running out of space, but I can't go back out there. So they send me to my new home. 3 bodies to a square. This is really where I live.
Two years later.
But
Welcome, thank you for joining us in this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, April 25th, 2020. I'm your host, Izzy with the most, and this is...
I'm still there.
And thank you for joining us on Channel 315, one-stop destination for all things Hobart and Wilmington. Baby, what do we have today?
Well, today marks the 2-year anniversary of when we looked back on the cultural divide between Geneva and the HWS community. And you will not believe how different the community looks now. Like, you wouldn't even believe that they were fighting 2 years ago. It's crazy, yeah. HWS has taken a really good step toward working with the students at looking at off-campus housing not as escaping HWS, but taking a step towards becoming part of the Geneva community. And they've also made sure that students aren't just looking at Geneva as the one pit stop for community service, but as a place that they'll want to live.
And for this story, we had live to the one and only, you know her, you love her, Madison.
Hey guys, so it's crazy, I'm back, and 2 years ago, I interviewed this Geneva resident and this Hobart student. And wow, it looks like in the past 2 years, you guys have really become great friends.
This is my guy.
So I'm just gonna ask you guys a few questions. What is the most positive impact that you've seen due to the changes around the community?
Well, Madison, I can honestly say that I feel truly a part of the Geneva community now. Before, I really was disassociated and disattached from the Geneva community, but now it's a very organic relationship. Not just saying hi to someone, but, really being a part of something greater. I have families that I've met in Geneva. I'll go to their house for dinner. I know their children. I know their dog. Little Fo Fifi and Fi Fi and Fofo. But it's really an enlightening experience.
Wow, that's great. So how have your feelings changed in the past 2 years?
Well, before all of this changed, I felt like Geneva students just came, or HWS students just came to Geneva to party on the weekends. But, and it seemed like they didn't really want to interact with us and get to know us.
We really didn't think you guys wanted to interact with us.
So we kind of figured out that the whole difference between our two communities was all based on misunderstandings of each other. And since we've come closer, it's just the relationships really gotten better.
Yeah, truly, I would agree. It's so much to the fact that now it's affecting my future. In the sense that I have a job lined up for me in Geneva, and I'm excited about it. Before, I would never even have thought of living in Geneva. But now, now that my eyes have been opened and doors have been opened in my life, this is a place that I can see myself staying for a while.
And once people like Josh here stopped throwing red Solo cups on my front yard, we realized that these aren't such bad people. A lot of small businesses around Geneva have started giving more opportunities for students at HWS to work in their businesses. And now, personally, I'm pushing my kids to go to HWS because I see that they're really producing some really responsible adults who are ready to lead a life of consequence.
Wow, well that's wonderful. What a great story of friendship. That's where I'm going to leave it for today on a positive note, so I'll throw it back to you guys.
I used to feel trapped. We were able to bridge the gap between the colleges and the locals. Now on my map, I see one community moving forward from the past. I know where I live. Where I live. Yeah, I know where I live. Used to feel like an outsider in the community which we roam. Now I take a look around. This community is my home. I know where I live.